Welcome to This is Fitness, the podcast for the bodybuilding and all things fitness, bringing you real life version of the fitness industry from people who've lived and breathed it. We explore new trends and serious topics while dispelling myths and calling out stupidity within the fitness industry. Jimmy and Chris offer their unique insight, delivered with healthy sarcasm. Let's crush those fitness goals together. This is Fitness. And now your hosts, Jimmy Sadek and Chris Thomas.
Welcome to episode 10 of This is Fitness. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks because of conflicting schedules, myself and Jimmy. But we've got a special one today. Jimmy's up from Sydney, so we're doing it together. And we've got our good friend and the larger-than-life IPV pro, Sam Pearce. Welcome, lads. How are we?
Hello, mate. Sam. As I said before, this is take two.
Take two.
I feel special. You guys got the podcast room, everything sorted for me, so it's good. It's awesome. Excuse for us to hang out, really.
Yeah, that's the best part.
There's always one of those things. It's like I was actually saying to Jimmy in the car here. It's like, we would say, like, oh yeah, man, we'll catch up in a few weeks, and it's like a few months, and then it's like next show, and it's like, yeah, we'll catch up. This is never comes around to it, so it's just another excuse to talk shit.
But everyone's so busy, right? And it's not that we don't catch up with all intent to not catch up. We want to. But what time?
Yeah, no.
Thank God for phones, because we can text flat out, we can call. But actually, especially because I live out of state, it's harder for me.
Bro, you know what it is? It's like I've got three of my best mates as well. They live on the coast. I'm lucky to see them once every 6 months, and it's just because they got shit going on. You know when people are busy, it's like, and so you should be.
Yeah.
If you guys are hassling me all the time to catch up, it's like you don't have fucking something to do.
Yeah.
Well, me and Jimmy have mentioned it a number of times over the weeks. We look forward to weekly doing this because it gives us a chance just to have a chat.
Exactly.
So
It's it's properly scheduled.
Yeah.
It's in the diary. It's part of the day. It's like, okay, 2 o'clock, Chris.
Yeah.
I got three schoolmates that are clients of mine.
Yeah.
And that's actually what it's really for. It's like, okay, I coach them, but really it's just to catch up and just have an appointment so we catch up and talk.
100%. Yeah, exactly.
I used to fight with my wife because I'd speak to my clients or spend more time with my clients than her. I'm like, okay, just book yourself in. You go put the money in the account and we'll hang out for the hour.
Very would like that.
Oh, yeah.
That would
Well, I have to do that, but even my parents come up or whatever, you got to put in. I live off my calendar. You got to put it in because otherwise you compromise and you discount. Oh yeah, I'll push this back half an hour. You forget stuff. Oh shit, I was meant to see so and so, whatever. I live everything by the calendar.
Even in my calendar, I've got from 3 o'clock. I've got Apollo at 4, Apollo at 5, Apollo at 6, Apollo at 7. Just because that's going to be blanked out no matter what.
Quality time's my biggest thing, man. It's like I don't need to see someone every day or talk to someone every day. It's just got to make sure when you catch up with someone or whatever it is you are doing, you can give it 100%.
And I think that also when you don't hear from that person, we go through stages, both of us, and you and me, Sam. We'll talk every day for 2 months, and then I haven't spoken to you for almost 2 months.
Just a couple of reels sent to me here.
Yeah, it's. But there's no animosity. It's like, fuck. Well, why is he talking to me? It's like, no, it's just we're busy. Yeah.
No one's offended. Not by that.
We shouldn't be anyway.
So episode 10. What's on the agenda?
Jimmy's up from Sydney, so maybe we should ask him what he's doing and why he's here.
I'm stealing ideas. I call it research and development.
Is it?
And then I've been getting some Instagram messages. You're stealing ideas. Gretchy, stealing ideas, huh? I'm like, fuck, all right. So we're opening a recovery centre in Sydney, next door to Riley's. And we have a big space, which is uncommon for recovery centres in Sydney because of the real estate prices. We've got a pretty good deal. Up in Brisbane, all the recovery centres are massive. So I just thought I'll come up here and I'll have a proper look at what's going down with them. Just to steal some ideas, get some decor inspiration.
Let's use the word repurpose.
Repurpose. Oh, look, I don't mind stealing ideas. Really, it's I'm okay with it.
Dude, I've had it's the same thing. It's like if you're really good at what you do, who gives a fuck? It's
exactly right.
People, I've had clients that are coaches, right? And they go off and they steal your shit.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, go. Do your fucking best. You're not going to be able to replicate what I fucking do.
But I'm not trying to take I've already got my concepts, and I know what I'm good at there, and I know what my the vision is I have for the place. I know what I'm not good at, and that's not that's the dainty design, the decor, making it look pretty. That's not my strong point. So I'm like, okay, let's see what the other guys are doing. Like I come up today, they gave me a slushie to go in the sauna. I'm stealing that.
That's the best idea.
100%. I'm not only stealing it, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to use the same shit they used, right? Because like it's amazing. It's just perfect. But that's not going to impact what they do. I'm not taking off them, but I'm just taking a few ideas. Yeah, and it's just like little things. Even when we go do the second one, I said to Maxwell up here we did the contrast therapy, which is jumping in a cold pool to a hot pool 4 minutes, and we're just going back and forwards 5 times. I'm like, man, I want to do that in the next one, which I had no intent nor purpose to want to have that in this one I'm doing, but man, I'm putting it in the next one because I felt so good after it. So it's like anything. You just go take inspiration of what others have done and put your little twist on it.
Yeah. Well, it's like a borrowed art form, isn't it, mate? That's the way it works, isn't it? You know, learn something, put your own personal touch on it, and keep going.
We're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
No, I mean,
Dude, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be the first to think about something. You just got to do it better. At the end of the day, like people get so uptight about it, but it's like, you know, everything I've learned has been through other coaches or other people in business, whatever it is. Like, is it actually copying? It's like, no, like you should be taking what you're out here to learn and be better and then apply it to your own craft, whether it be to yourself or your business or whatever it might be.
But you might not take everything either.
No.
Like, I'm sure okay, say you've had 5 coaches. You might take one thing per coach that you really worked for you, or you really enjoyed doing, or thought they did that really well. But the rest of what they do is dog shit. So I don't want none of that. But like that is really good.
Yeah, man.
Like even the structure of the diet, or how they present their spreadsheet, or whatever. If you combine your 5 favorite coaches or your 5 favorite people that you've worked with, put your own twist to it. That's your style. You know.
Yeah, so, well, it's good.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm doing up here.
That's good.
Then I parlayed that into seeing you.
Yeah.
I was texting you as I was texting Sam because I was going to see both at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's easy. We all catch up for a workout. We went and had a feed.
Yeah.
And now I thought we were going to do the podcast anyway.
I'm still on the close of training.
And I've been trying to get you on the podcast for the last month, Sam.
Yeah.
You've got the text, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's not like it's just up here. This is literally a planned thing. I wanted him as our first guest.
Yeah, exactly. Off the cuff. So
yeah.
So what's happening in Sam Pearce's life?
I'm my first guest.
Yes.
You are.
Apollo's been on a couple times.
Sick. All right. Okay. Now I really feel good.
Yes.
So tell us what's going on with Sam Pearce.
Everything's cruising in my life. Like it's I'm natty at the moment, as you guys can clearly tell.
Clearly,
very natty.
That's fine.
No, I don't know. Like people get on a fucking thing where they're off the gear and they're like,
Health phase
sucks. And dude, what's with this fucking name, health phase?
What the fuck?
Like,
Did you watch that the other week?
Bro. No, I just hear health phase. I hear what is it, build phase? It's like
I may have had a little rant about it, Sam.
What it is, it's just like to me. I live the lifestyle. Like people get so caught up on what phase you and we doing this. It's like I was doing this shit before it was cool, right? I was doing this shit before. Like it's great to see the sport grow, but it's like I was doing this shit before it was cool. Like when I got diagnosed with Crohn's and everything, had to reset my diet, reset everything. I just started going back into just enjoying the whole discipline of it all, because when you use these disciplines into everyday life, your relationships, your family, your kids, your career, whatever it might be, it still requires hard work, accountability, and discipline, right? So whether I'm on the gear or off the gear, it doesn't fucking matter to me.
No.
So yeah, things just roll through for me. Like I still train well. Like I got a few niggles popping up because I'm not as Superman as I was just a couple of weeks ago. But everything else just rolls through. I don't really think about. I actually enjoy being off the gear because you don't have to pin as much. I find you get a bit leaner too because you got to drop a little bit of information.
Yeah.
You feel better.
Yeah, like I find I process food better. I was telling you that before as well, Chris. Just on that front, you just kind of feel better all over. So I just enjoy it for what it is. I love it when I'm on. I also love it when I'm off.
Yeah.
There's no big difference for me. I find it really hard, when you talk to people and they're like, can I run this while I'm off? Okay. It's like, dude, you're off. Like, why? Like, this is what gives the whole bodybuilding industry and steroid industry like essentially a bad name, because it's like, I see how it's addictive, but it's like, if you don't know how to fucking come off and just enjoy being off, you're fucked.
Well, you're either on or you're off, right?
Yeah, man.
Right. So I get all the time. How about I run some VAR while I'm off?
Yeah.
How is that off though?
Yeah.
And like That would be probably the worst thing to do while you're in your off anyway, but let's not go into that. But
it's like people trying to get fertile, you know, like people message me like, oh yeah, I want to get fertile, I want to keep running this, and I'm like, you're not going to grow in that period anyway, so just come off and just fucking accept what's going on. Like, you're going to have to, like I've always said, you're going to have to come off one day. You know, like, can you actually do it? You know, that's why people get so fucking cooked, because they can't deal with, you know, just getting smaller one day or whatever. It's like, just enjoy the period that you're in right now, and then when it's over, it's over. Just appreciate it. Be present in the moment of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, right, besides that, my life's pretty good right now. I've got the gym running where I need to run it, like, which is like, took me, you know, like any business, 2-3 years, but now I'm finally actually using the gym what I built it for, which is just to go in there and train in my own facility. It's a private gym, you know what I mean? So it's not like I work there anymore. It's like I can just go in there and train. Like, literally leave home, have my pre-workout, which we used to do when we were fucking, you know, in our teenage years. You know, go to the gym, train, then fuck off, you know? And then the other thing too as well is because it runs itself, it's like there's probably like 1 or 2 days a week where I do go to another gym. Because I can, you know, not that I couldn't before, it's just when you're always working there, you go to another gym, it's a lot of time out of your day. So now it's like, it is good. Like I've actually fallen back in love with Belgium Ashmore again, the place I grew up training, which I hated for so long because I worked there for fucking 10 years. Nothing against the joint, it's just it took me 3-4 years to be away from it. So when I went back there and trained there, I'm like, oh fuck, this is good. You know, even people telling me about, oh, you know, I went up to Brisbane on the weekend, I was in Sydney, like, did you train at gyms there? It's like, I was so like kind of numb for a bit to gyms, because it's like, when you got your own, you lose the love for training a different gym with a different piece of equipment or whatever it is. You're just like, man, it's just all just business and numbers to me now. You know what I mean? So now, like when I go to places, it's like, oh yeah, you know, let's go try this out. I wouldn't mind trying this gym out or whatever it might be. You know, so those things are cool to come back. And as I say, it kind of feels like it's de-stressed me a lot, which is a huge part. I think any kind of growth that everyone's trying to, you know, fulfill with their own training, whatever it is, sort your fucking stress out. I reckon that's where my Crohn's came from, was stress-related issues. I think all autoimmune sicknesses come from stress-related issues. So if you don't sort your shit out, you're fucked there. So I think that was a big part for me at the moment. And that's why at the moment, life's just kind of just cruising on through. It's like every day's routine. I work 7 days, but I'm the busiest I've ever been. But at the same time, probably feels the most free I've ever been.
It's interesting, Sam, what you touched on with the Crohn's stuff, right? Like, you know, you've chosen to look at it now as a positive thing, right, that's happened, right? Because we were just discussing this before over lunch, and, like, the lessons you learned with food and things like that. Like, you know, we always talk about eating whole foods and low allergenic foods and all that sort of stuff, and we go on about it, and people constantly get upset with listening to me talk about it because they'd rather eat cereal and all this other sort of shit, but we won't really fully go into that. But I mean, part of controlling an autoimmune issue like that is obviously controlling your food and your intake and selecting your food. Now, this is the healthiest we've ever seen you, the biggest we've ever seen you, right? Now, not a lot of people deal with an autoimmune issue that well, and you come out of the back end of it in a manner where you've controlled it and managing it, and arguably the healthiest you've ever been.
No drugs, bro. No fucking, no, and look, medical disclaimer, obviously I believe in medicine and everything, but it's like, you get sat down in front of a specialist, the fucking specialist says to me, look, you know, although I'm a specialist, this is a really unknown disease. Right. We're not fully grasping on it. You've got a 90% chance of your intestines and bowel getting cut out, as in like you're pretty well fucked. You straight away qualify for these high up drugs, these like preloaded pens that look like GH pens. And, you know, you get all this straight away on Medicare and everything because you're that fucked up. And I'm like, okay. So started taking them and had a consult a few weeks later, check up on because they're pretty aggressive drugs. And he's like, you know, we're not really guaranteed these are going to work, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, if you're the specialist, you're meant to know the most out of everyone, and you don't know the most out of everyone. You tell me to take things you don't even know if they fucking work. It's like, well, you know, have you not addressed like food or stress? Like, I did ask these questions.
Yeah.
And like in a roundabout way, he pretty much told me to get fucked in a really nice way. And I'm like, nah, like, I'm going to just try a few things for myself. It's like, you know, and then full elimination diet, went down that path. Realised what foods really worked well for me, which is pretty much the carnivore diet, which was when I first started, you know, and then you run that for a bit, and I felt great, like I was fucking lean, I was off the gear for like, 3 to 6 months. Again, no trouble, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna get back on the gas, it was just, for me, it was like, because I was all cut open, like a fucking 50-cent piece between my ball sack and my arsehole.
Right.
And it was a drainage system too because of the bacteria and everything, so I had to leave that open.
Right.
So the first 2 or 3 weeks, I was told I wasn't allowed to see my daughter, which I still did. But you know, I was
Is that because of risk of infection?
just because I was walking less. I was at the time I was walking slower than my daughter. She was fucking 2 years old. I was walking slower than her, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? It was horrible. And like, my main goal was just to get up the stairs of my own gym. You know, like I get a bit emotional now thinking about it because it was this time 2 years ago. And you know, I remember just walking out of the dumbbell rack, picking up just 5 kilos, not to train, just doing some side raises, just to not to put muscle on, just because we love training. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck if it was going to make me skinny. I just loved going to the gym to fucking train. I got my own gym there, and I'm like, I can't even fucking use this place. Can't see my daughter. You know, and then I'm like, no, like I'm just going to work my way back out of this. You know, and then I began on, you know, obviously the carnivore diet. Started just feeling better because I was eating protein and food again, eating the foods they were telling me to stay away from, and I was feeling great. And then obviously, you know, you see yourself, and people come up to you, and okay, I was about 100, 105 kilos, right? But people are coming up, and they're like, fuck, you're doing my classic physique, you look fucking mad, you look really good. And like, I had like a better, I was always really pale, and now I have like a kind of constant glow tan kind of, you know what I mean? Like even when I go pale, it's not like that pasty fucking, you know, real.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, and yeah, like my skin cleared up, everything just felt better, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just try and throw some rice back in, and try and throw this back in, and that back in, and then just over time, and then I'm like, you know, doing my research, and obviously put the gear back in and everything as well, and everything just started getting better and better and better, and then now over time, it's like we can go for lunch just before, eat whatever the fuck I want, because I don't really eat whatever the fuck I want. Do you know what I mean? I can go with my daughter, sushi, ice cream, whatever. But I don't have it again until I see her. I only go it because she's there, so I can enjoy those times with her. But yeah, I don't feel restricted in any way. So I can eat what I want now, I can do what I want now, and yeah, man, like it's the best I've been as a bodybuilder. I think clearer. I fucking sleep the best I've ever slept. You know, you guys know I preach a lot into. Which I don't do as frequently now because I don't feel I need to, but at the time, I really had to clear my head of some past demons, inner things, inner traumas I was holding, which helped me release a lot of stress. I remember, funny as this, it was about 4 weeks after the intense surgery, right? And they had me on high scripts of fucking endone and tramadol. And because I can just come off the gear cold turkey, like they'll give me heaps of that shit. I'm like, I didn't like it. In the hospital was fun. When you get home, it settles down, you're on your own and you're fucking off your head on this shit. You're like, oh, fuck this. So I just put it to the side. The come down was worse than the fucking surgery. That was some horrible shit. That was some horrible, horrible shit. So in that period, I'm like, this is my time to turn to God. Like, this is fucked. So I started going to church every Sunday for about 3 or 4 weeks. And it just wasn't for me. It was. I'm like, I'm kind of here, but I don't really believe in that front, right? But I loved seeing everyone there feeding off each other's energy. You know what I mean? I'm like, this, because I do believe there's a higher power, whatever. So I'm not atheist, whatever the fuck. It's just like, I saw what they're doing, and I'm like, maybe down the track I could reinvest my time back into this. But for now, I love seeing everyone happy right now. Everyone's fucking happy. They're all fucking singing, and I'm like, I want to be like that, you know? So I went down a bit of a holistic path, learned how to kind of meditate, clear my thoughts, you know, because who's to say as well why my full belief in a religion isn't assigned to it yet? Because at the time, I still had other things on my mind. You know, when you're not clear vision, you have a lot of distractions. You know, still a lot of insecurities. So when I went down that path and started facing a few things, and just started learning how to meditate, just started to just be fucking present in the moment. You know, like a big part of failed things in my life is when you're fucking talking to someone. This was me. You're talking to me, and you know I'm thinking about someone else. And that's the fucking worst thing. You know when you're talking to someone, you're like, you just fucking listen to what I just said. You know, I reckon that's half the reason why my fucking previous relationship ended was because, you know, you're so stressed about other things. You know, and then you go through life and you become a fucking old man one day and you go, oh, you know, I was chasing this dream, whatever it is, and you may got it or may not, but you know, it's never good enough. It's like the shows that I won as an amateur. Like I won some good shows against some really good guys. You never really fucking appreciate it because you're like, oh, but
some really good guys.
some really. We can tell that story as well.
Forever.
I shat my pants the first time I fucking did the IFB, and I walked back and you got some Chris Thomas. I'm like, the Chris Thomas, fuck man. But you know, yeah. But that's the thing, because you walk back and you finish the show, you have your trophy, and you're like, oh, but so and so didn't compete, so I'm still not good enough. Like, you're not appreciating it, you know.
Like,
Or 4 weeks before the show, you planned your off season out to a T.
Yeah.
Like,
dude, that's what I mean. It's like you miss that kind of process, and you're not present. You're not grateful. You know, like every night I fucking go to bed. I look out and I look at the skyline of Surfers Paradise. And the house that I live in now that I love is just a nice house. I love my lifestyle. I talk to myself. I'm like, man, you're fucking doing everything you want to do. This is fucking awesome. Like this is mad. Like I get killed in a car accident tomorrow, and I'm happy. Oh, don't say that, man. That's really negative to think about. It's like, well, tragedies. We don't fucking expect a tragedy, do we?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so what are you thinking in that last moment before the tragedy? You know what I mean? Like, because we don't know we'll get out of this alive, right? That's one.
No
thing
one gets out alive, bro.
We're all sure of that, right? So it's like I sit there every night and I talk to myself like, dude, you did a really good job today.
you know, not many, like nobody does things like that. Everyone will say, okay, how many clients you had that have lost 6 kilos in the last 10 weeks, but they haven't lost 12.
Yeah.
So they were like, fuck, I'm not there yet. I've still got 6 to go. I'm like, just think about the 6 you just lost, mate.
Yeah.
Like they never like, and that's the present thing. It's like they're never happy where they're at. And I said to a client last night, actually, I said, when you lose your next 6 and you get to your goal, you're not going to be happy.
Yeah. What's next? Yeah. Because happiness comes from within. You know, for me, it was like that's the hard realization I had to have. The whole church thing, you know, like I was searching for happiness. You know, the whole bodybuilding thing, I was searching for happiness. Having a certain amount of money in my bank account, searching for happiness. You know, but the happiness has to come within. Like, can you actually look at yourself when you wake up in the mirror? Wake up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, you know, and you're like, I love this person I'm looking at. Not so much the physique, but I love you as a fucking person. Like, because if you don't have that standard for yourself, and you put yourself at a low standard, I haven't lost that extra 6 kilos, I don't have this, then you treat everyone else the same fucking way. You don't even realize you do it. You know, I mean, that's your standard of how you treat yourself is how you treat everyone else, right? So then, I pictured it. I'm like, well, you know, I got my fucking daughter, right? I don't want to make sure she's with some fuckwit when she's older. So it's like, I've got to make sure that me is the first impression, right, of a man, right? She has to look up to. So I better look up to me. Like, oh, isn't that up yourself? No, it fucking isn't. Because like, if I put myself at a fucking high standard, super high expectation, right? Yeah. Then she looks at that and goes, oh, that's what a man is.
Well, that's the benchmark.
So when some fucking flop comes in and tries to fucking wine and dine it, because that's what's going to happen, right? She has at least, I'm hoping, some sort of fucking standard to go off to be like, this gun's full of shit.
Well, where's she going to get that anyway?
Yeah.
There's only one person.
Exactly. I think what you were saying before with about never being happy and stuff, I think a lot of the time it's all in the way people choose to phrase something and the way that they decide to word it. They're like, in other words, I still want to lose another, like what you said, I still want to lose another 6. Instead of going, I've lost 6, right? That different viewpoint changes the positivity of that comment so much. Right?
I have to train or I get to train.
Right. You know, I need to train or I want to train. See what I mean? All these things change the context dramatically in mindset as well.
Because then what happens as well, you start to see things with other people too. Like, you know, I don't dislike anyone. You know, people might think I dislike people because I just choose to live separately. But as soon as I feel something or they say something, it's like, man, like, you got to just stay over there. Like, and you know, I don't hate the person. I don't talk badly about anyone. But it's like, as soon as you feel that, it's like, man, I'm not letting any of that affect what I'm fucking doing. And it may not be affecting me as such, but it's like, you know, talking about themselves, other people, or whatever it might be. It's like, yeah, look, like, all good, like, sweet, you know, and you're still there for those type of people, whatever, but they've got to sort their fucking shit out, because that kind of energy, it fucking affects you big time, and you don't realise how quickly you can be consumed, and how all of a sudden, once you allow one of them in, you got fucking 10 of them around you, dragging you down. And that was another big thing I had to kind of realise too. But, you know, as I said, like, that's where, you know, oh, Crohn's this, Crohn's that. It's like, yeah, perspective, right? It's the fucking best thing that happened to me. Like, ever since I've had Crohn's, since this last 2 years, literally everything in my life has, like, catapulted tenfold, right? And I haven't had to tell anyone about it. It's just like, people know, they see it. They know, they're like, yeah, fuck, man, you're doing really well, or whatever. I don't have to go out and brag about it, or whatever it is. I just sit there just enjoying, because I can see also how quickly shit can be taken from you.
So, based on that, 2 things that you can see, like we can see that excelled in your life? One, your social media,
Yep.
therefore your business, your online coaching, and two, your physique, right? So how, like, what have you done to make each better? As a, we know about cutting the stress and all that, but like, what have you actually?
The physique wise, it's like, when are you competing next? You know, that's our big question as bodybuilders, amateur right through to pro. When are you competing next? Or have you thought about getting back, or you know, this, that, or whatever? And then you relay that onto yourself. I have to compete at this time. I got to. I've got people watching. I got to. You know, but now it's like, I don't give a fuck about competing, man. I've made it further than what I ever thought I ever would. So now it's like, I look at it, I'm like, yeah, I get to compete, right? You know, and it's like, I'm in a position now where I'm just choosing to do, I'm choosing every part of it. Like, I'm choosing to eat the food I eat. I'm choosing to train. And it's like, you think, you're like, oh, I've got to have a drink, or, you know, I've got to go out to this birthday, whatever it is. It's like, that doesn't make me happy. You know, like, I don't, it's nothing against anyone. It's just like, I fucking love what I do. Like, when I work 7 days, I get up, you know, latest 5 o'clock every fucking day. You know, I go to bed early. It's like, I just enjoy that. I just enjoy that part, you know. But what happens to do those things? Your sleep gets fucking good. Your diet gets consistent. You get stronger, and you fucking kill it with your fucking training. Which, therefore, too, if you're present at that moment, usually you guys could bat for this. Your injuries come when you're thinking about something else, right? I've always torn my pecs when I fucking had a slight thought of something else, crack, bang, you know, like, now, you know, touch wood, I've got a bit of a fucking tight brachialis, but that's just because, you know, you're still going to get tight things here and there, but no injuries since all this shit's gone down, right? You know, so how does that come? Like, you know, the fastest way you are going to grow, period, is no injuries, right? So then, yeah, like, I want to prove these things to myself. Like, could I just live the lifestyle and not think about competing without a coach? Because once you assign a coach, then you're committed to competing, right? But I want to do a show. I want to get as shredded as I could, more shredded than whatever I have been. Like, can I just do this with just living the lifestyle, not telling anyone, compete, just get, and obviously still go back on stage too, and just, do I still really enjoy this?
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, it was probably the worst placing I've ever got. that American show. It was the best I've ever looked. I fucking enjoyed it. There was no, like, I love having my daughter there as my fucking, as my reference point, because kids don't lie, right? Like, if I'm shitty, right, and I'm short with you guys, you're like, it's 3 weeks out. Fucking he's alright. But kids, they don't give a fuck.
I don't know either.
They don't care, you know. So for me, like, the fact that, you know, my ex would always say to me, yeah, she's really excited to see you. And I'm like, fucking 3 weeks out, she still wants to see me. That's fucking mad. I'm doing something right here. You know what I mean? So these are the things, you know, like, when I'll be talking to clients, you know, like, oh, I didn't know you were actually competing. It's good, because if they can't tell, it shows that obviously my mood and everything, and I'm just enjoying the process and everything like that. So I think, you know, as far as why the physique's changed so much, it's just because when you first got into bodybuilding, before you even realized you wanted to compete, what were you doing? Train with the boys in the gym when you were 17, you wanted to fucking eat some fucking steaks, go have a feed on a Friday night with some Nando's.
It's all fun.
You know, it's just fun shit. Like, yeah, we're taught to, like, you know, oh, you know, living your life, you do have to go out and have a drink and do this, that, whatever it is. Like, I'm not against drinking. I'm not against fucking any of that shit. I just like doing this, and I've accepted that, and that's the way I'm gonna fucking keep it ongoing. You know.
Also, before, when we used to do shows, everyone told you should feel like shit.
Yeah, man.
Like, it was normal to feel like shit. If you didn't feel like shit, you weren't in shape, or you weren't doing it right, or whatever. Like, and of course, like, you're gonna feel it, but you don't have to feel like shit.
You embrace it, man.
Yes.
Embrace it. It's like, good, this is the challenge I want.
But ultimately, it's your choice. That's the thing that gets me, is like, people always complain about it, which we know it's hard. If you do it properly, it's hard, right? We've all done it.
Of course it's hard.
But the bottom line, ultimately, is no one had a gun to your head going, Sam, you're doing the show, did they? Right,
No.
Jimmy? Right? It's true, isn't it?
No,
So,
it's-
and that's the hardest thing. Like, now, when you get people complaining a bit more about it, which, let's be fair, is more prevalent now. But in saying that, when we were competing in the earlier days, man, like, I remember, mate, when I did my first show, there was no Facebook.
Yeah.
Right? So, and we've talked about this before, like, we used to go to a weigh-in, right? And the weigh-ins, they used to hold them in a shopping centre stage.
That's sick.
Yeah, so you used to go down to like
That's sick.
a Westfield or something, right? And you get
That's
down to centre
fucking mad.
stage. But you
That's
know the
mad.
best part of it was a spectacle, Sam, though, right? Because no one knew who was competing. There were no photos going up. Hey, this is
Yeah,
so and
just
so
turn
8
up,
weeks
yeah.
out with the fucking right lighting and the wind blowing from the north and the fucking curtain halfway up and all this sort of stuff, right? And you'd rock up and there'd be some rock ape with the tracksuit zipped up to his neck, and you just look at him and go, "Who the fuck's that?" And then he'd unzip it, and you just go,
Yeah, he's turned up.
"Where's he
Yeah,
been hiding?" He's been training in a shed up in Nambour for the last
Yeah,
5
yeah,
years, and
right,
no one even
yeah.
knows who he is. And that was the beauty of what it was.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, it's like I don't really look to see who's competing or what. It's just like when your time's right, your time's right. You know, 'cause,
Exactly.
even when I first started and was just Facebook, it was kind of like, you know, frowned upon as well. Like, say, oh, your friends, oh, you're doing that. I'm like, yeah. So I never told anyone I was competing back then. Anyway,
It wasn't the same back then.
And then, you know, now, like as I said, like what's transferred into the business side of things and my social media and stuff, it's like, well, you put your head down and use those same disciplines and everything else, well, look what happens. You know, now I want to be working on the business, not in it. You know, and that's the one thing I had to do. We get so caught up working in something, and it's like a fucking stranglehold. You know, like I think financial stress is the fucking worst thing out of all of it. You know, and just because you might be going well financially, it might be good. You know, that you see your accounts, whatever it is, but you're still working in it. So it's like if you don't turn up, you're fucked type thing. You know, where now, you know, it's putting me in a position where it's like I like educating people, I like helping people. That's why I do it as a coach, right? So now I can kind of demonstrate that into a social media form of things and kind of get my message out. It's fulfilling. People message you like you don't even know, like don't even ask you a coaching. It's like, man, thanks so much for this, that, or whatever. It's like that's fucking mad. I actually really appreciate those messages now more than like say, dude, you look fucking sick. When are you competing next? Like when it's like, yeah, man, you helped me so much with this, that, or whatever, and you don't even coach them. It's like that's fucking sick.
That's the best, eh?
Man, it sounds cheesy, but it's a fucking sick.
No, it's not. Do you know how many inboxes I got off over the cereal rant?
Yeah. Everyone's
Cereal
the
rant,
same.
yeah.
Oh, right,
I
seriously.
already know what it'd be about, yeah.
You know, I did, and my inbox is full. I actually got clients over the cereal rant.
Yeah, you got client remember
You know,
saying that.
and it's just, and that type of thing. I just looked at it. We were talking about this before. I said, I think that's a better way, and it's a really positive and useful way to use it, rather than sort of holding up a tub of something with no shirt on.
Yeah, well,
and doing that,
well, the other thing too is like you got the other end of people where, you know, that they're ragging on other coaches as well. You know, where it's like that's just as bad as the false information, because it's like, you know, I never want to put someone down for what it is, but it's like, yeah, I'm a believer too. It's like there's just things that come out. And it's like, yeah, okay, like theoretically it might make sense for that to work, but in practice it doesn't. And that's the same with any industry anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, if you like, you know, from an engineering background, like you go off the book, it never matches out to what you see in practice, right?
Right.
Bodybuilding and fitness and nutrition, everything like that, same fucking thing. Just because in theory this happens or this study happens there, whatever, everyone's different, and I don't give a fuck what you say.
Right. So there's so much more than energy in versus energy out, right?
Way more. I think I did a post on this the other night.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did one on this the other
Did
night.
ya?
Yeah.
I'll have to watch that because
Yeah,
it's a
because
good
no,
thing.
it is true. Like it's like you know, I don't believe you can you know, just cut out all your carbs and fats of the day so you can eat a donut. It's like, you know, if you're like say for example, like if I'm I drive down to see my parents for Christmas every year, right?
Yep.
And I always get it wrong. I have my meals with me, but there's always part of me that gets one meal wrong. You know what I mean? So I'll stop in the servo and I grab some shit.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then if you fit your numbers that way,
Yeah.
as a once-off because you're stuck in the fucking middle of nowhere and you got to get something from a servo, there's nothing around. It's like, yeah, I get it. You know, you don't, you know, it promotes. The problem with it, I've got nothing against it,
No.
right? When it's done, if you were doing it with clean foods or whatever, but the problem is it promotes bad eating habits, right?
Yes.
Because now the whole point of following a diet is to benefit from discipline. Discipline's the highest form of self-love, right? It's the number one way for you to progress in life and to show a standard, like I said to you before, that self-love standard. It's like, you know, it's better for the long term because discomfort, right, makes things easier in the future. Okay, so when you're trying to look at things every day, oh, what can I get away with? If I can put this in here, I can get away with this. Defeats the whole fucking purpose of why you're doing it in the first place. And that doesn't mean you have to eat plain chicken and rice. People come back and go, oh, you got to eat. I don't want to be a hardcore bodybuilder. You don't fucking have to be. I just said to you before, I don't give a fuck about competing.
Yeah.
You know, but like, for me, it's just about being a better version of myself every day. Like, why is that such a fucking crime now? And gets frowned upon because, you know, I am just trying to be a better person myself. Not as a bodybuilder, just, you know, not, even as a father or whatever. I'm just, for myself, I just want to be better every day. So to me, it doesn't make sense if I'm trying to create shortcuts because I'm like, oh, I'm craving this at the moment, so I'm just going to work this in here, and then tomorrow I'm craving this, and tomorrow I'm craving that. If you're craving something after a month and you want to work it in, yeah, fucking do it. Like, you know what I mean? Or you want to work it in and be a bit anal, and you want to go out and do something on your birthday, whatever. Like, personally, I just say fucking just go eat it anyway. I don't give a fuck. But if you really want to go to a party, yeah, whatever. But it's like, to me, it's more of an eating disorder when you're trying to fit those things in. So you can go to bed at night knowing like, oh, I had a donut yesterday, I had cereal today, and then I'm going to have cakes tomorrow, and I can work it in with my numbers, right? And you know, it's all sweet because in theory it works that way.
With the diet too. Okay, everyone wants to get in better shape if they start following the diet, but you feel better as well. So even with new clients or whatever, a lot of clients come to you and they're under eating. So you've got to feed them more. You feed them more coming from where they were. They're generally not going to lose weight in the first few weeks. But the indicator is how are they going to feel better? How are you feeling? I feel amazing. You got energy? Yeah. Like they're the things that you're supposed to be doing when you start to follow an eating plan or a nutrition plan or whatever.
Whole food, nutritious food, right?
Yep.
It's like if I go have a cheat meal because I got to eat so much fucking food, I eat like 7,000 calories, right? And I'm as lean as what I am. I wasn't the lean kid in school. I didn't have the genetics in school, so just throw that out the fucking window, right? I'm very transparent about the gear that I use too, so don't come at me saying, like, well, it's just because of the fucking gear, bro. Like, get fucked, right? I talk about it all the time on social media, right? If I go and have a cheat meal, it's actually less food than what I eat on my normal food.
Yep.
And I'm more full after the cheat meal. Like when I say more full, more bloated full. You know what I mean? It's like, because it's just something off my plan, right? I actually ate less calories, but on my clean food, I eat it. I'm hungry by the next meal, right? The meal we had before, right? It wasn't even that dirty. It was just
stop there. Why is that? I know you know the answer anyway. So why, if you eat a cheat meal, right, are you not hungry 2 hours later? And why, when you eat your clean meal, are you hungry 2 hours later?
I think there's two things. Because I've always processed my mind as well as a cheat meal.
Yeah.
I like to have my cheat meal last of the day.
Right.
As like, you know, we go out for dinner on our usual Saturday night, you know, might train our legs on the fucking Saturday afternoon and have all my meals for the day, and then we go out for, some people do that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the missus on a fucking scheduled Friday night, whatever it is. So if I have it through the day, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't want to get back on my food now,
Right.
you know? So that's where, again, it leads to bad decisions, because then it's like, once the bear tastes blood, then it's like, oh, I've already cheated on my diet. And
Might as well cheat again.
a lot of people go cheat and whatever it is.
Yeah.
But really, it's actually because of the inconsistency of the food that we're eating. Really,
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. So it could be the things they cook it with. It could be just a little bit of the sauce that they put in that I'm not used to, or whatever it is. And yeah, I struggle breaking down. And I don't even think that's a fucking Crohn's thing, bro. I think that's just a thing that, you know, as I said, the body loves consistency. I know I said this in my post the other night. You put your alarm on every day for 6 o'clock, right? Eventually, you're going to start waking up at 5 to 6 without the alarm.
Correct.
Because your body knows what time to fucking get up.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where it comes down to, like the food side of things too. It's like what we had before. Like it was still, you know, it was grilled chicken and everything like that. But it was just like, because it's different to what I usually eat.
Yep.
Like talking right now,
I can feel it too.
I feel fuller than what I would from my
Same.
I feel fantastic.
So listen,
But I know I ate less than what I would usually do.
Right.
Yeah. So if I go out and eat and I travel for a weekend, like it's hard. Like that's where I get indigestion. I struggle sleeping because like if I go like 2 or 3 meals off that day, by the end of the day, I'm fucked. You know,
Exactly.
because I didn't eat as much as what I usually should, but I feel like I've eaten double. You know, so I'm like sluggish, indigestion. You know, so I feel like the acid reflux and all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what you said you were talking about before, Jimmy, right? So when you said you would increase the client's food to start with, right? Give them cleaner foods, right? So you're not expecting weight loss straight away, right? Do you notice that then basically after a couple of weeks or so, all of a sudden, without dropping those calories, they actually start to lose weight?
100%.
Because inflammation's coming down, you know, irritation's coming down, all these different things.
Digestion's
Then they start
moving.
assimilating nutrient better, and the system starts functioning more optimally.
Plus, they have energy to train.
It's all these things, and
See, and training output's a big thing too.
exactly.
Like if you're going to do like females especially, like guys will eat junk food, it's have a few calories in them, whatever. But girls come in seeing like less than 1,000 calories a day, doing cardio and doing training. I'm like, hey, you're doing cardio and you're doing training, but are you actually training? Or you're just going to the gym and just trying to get a workout in on no fuel. So once they can actually start to go into the gym and push, that training effect get shit moving like really well.
That's why you can't. So people say like you can't out-train a bad diet, right? It's like I think you can out-train a certain amount of clean calories. Okay, so it's like, so when I say that, again, people are gonna take that and go, "Oh, what do you mean by that?" It's like, well, how is it? As I said before, I could eat 5,000 calories eating out in a day, but I can eat 7,000, and I actually get leaner and I train better, right? Because everything functions better. It's like everything works in motion better. Like the body knows what it's going to digest, so then you feel better to train. When you feel better to train, what happens? You're not walking in, bloated, short of air. You're doing a bent over row and you're burping between it and things like that, right? You're coming in and you're smashing it, so you're getting stronger. So when you're getting stronger, you're doing more reps, you're lifting more weight, you could be doing more volume. You're probably resting less between sets because you're just getting back into things better. So therefore, your output just naturally goes up. Naturally, right? So then when that goes up, right, you're utilizing the food better. That amount of food that you're eating, and you said you put a girl with a bit of extra food, whatever it is, it's being properly utilized now, right? It's being directed in the same way. So therefore, now when you're training and you're killing it, essentially that's what happens. Your output goes up, right, and then it matches what you work, so it kind of brings it up, and then what happens? Okay, we'll just trickle in a little bit more food, but the foods are going to digest well, so therefore they feel even better, and they start, so that's why I've never really believed in the whole, especially nowadays, the whole bulking or building phase that people say. It's like, yeah, you can, technically, I guess you have to put on some body fat to gain muscle, but I think your body fat percentage should never really have to go up if you're taking the time knowing that, putting on muscle takes a long fucking time anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So,
especially for those that do never compete or have no intention to get like proper jacked. Like you can stay in shape, put muscle on, make yourself look better without.
Dude, they're my best clients, man. They're my best clients because the guys that just want to get fucking jacked, right? They want to get jacked and just be like that. Like, oh, dude, I got no interest in competing. I say to them, I'm like, you could actually fucking compete. Like, yeah, not really for me, eh? Like, because they don't have like a need of validation to go in the gym and say, oh, Chris, when are you competing? Oh, 6 weeks, bro. Oh, man, you look good. Nah, bro, you look even better. Oh, thanks, King. Shut the fuck up, man. Like, like the guys that just want to get jacked, stay lean, live the lifestyle. All of a sudden, year round, they're walking around looking like 6 to 8 weeks out. It's like, I don't think any bodybuilder in this day and age should be any more than 12 weeks out in like an off season. I don't think bikini girls or wellness girls should be fucking anywhere from maximum 6 weeks out from a show.
They shouldn't do a bulk season.
There is
I've
no
been
such
saying
thing.
this for years. I've been literally 10 years. Bikini girls shouldn't bulk.
Listen to the word bikini. Like the word bikini. Like, you're meant to look good in bikini. Like, why are you trying to mass gain like a fucking pro bodybuilder? I don't understand that part. I think that's just an excuse for poor eating habits.
Well, they are. Thank you.
Yeah,
It is.
poor eating habits, man. It's like, as I said, like
Can you touch on what you were saying before about before we go into poor eating habits? The you can't out-train a bad diet, but you can out-train a good diet. Like, where were you going with that?
Well, that's where that leads into what I'm saying. Like, if everyone was doing that in the so-called like building phase, there'd be no fucking fat-looking motherfuckers in their off-season.
Okay, so just say we've done that. You've been following your plan. Okay, I'm assuming you're leaning into now when to eat a shit meal, or a dirty meal, or a cheat meal, or a refeed meal. When would you get to that stage?
Well, what are you really craving? It's like, dude, like if I
No, but take the cravings out of it.
but
Why are you
like,
doing it?
If you're going to schedule like say a cheat meal, right? It's like I look at it where I'm like, okay, I can schedule in a cheat meal because I could be getting flat, right? Say you're getting really strong and you start training real hard, and you know the byproduct of that as well is when you're starting to go past your current diet, you get leaner, right? Because you're just burning body fat because your muscles are growing, you're on the gear and everything's just fucking pushing through, yeah. So you know you might have that thing where you go, oh, I could probably go cheat meal because after this leg day I'm starting to cramp and like get some calories in quick, but it's like you eat so much food as it is. I eat a shitload of food, don't get me wrong, right? And I still look at it, I'm like, fuck, That's a lot of food, man. But it's the effort of eating. It's not like, oh, I've got to eat this and I put it in my fucking mouth and it falls out. And I've got to fucking drink it down with water. It's like, my body's calling for it.
Yeah.
It's just the whole chewing and swallowing thing. I'm like, man, it's a lot of fucking effort.
So you get to that point, right?
You get to that point. You put the cheat meal in, man. That's like even more effort.
Okay, but are you saying? So I'm trying to load the questions up for you because I know the answers I'm trying to get out of you. So
This bloke.
let's just talk about and because we've had conversations when you've been dieting and whatever, where I know you've gone and had a shit meal, but you've not just gone, fuck it, Saturday I'm gonna have a shit meal. You've done it on like a Wednesday because you've noticed a drop in your body weight.
Mm-hmm.
Probably at the same time your performance in the gym was suffering on those days or the day before. So you go, fuck it, I'm having a day off for rest and I'm going to bump my calories up. But you didn't just replace a meal with the shit calories. You ate your food, then you had the cheat meal that's a dense food on top.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, man. It's like, it gets to a certain point where you're eating that much food. Like, say, I was the most shredded I've ever been in that last show I did, right? I was already like fucking 6 weeks out from the show. And it's like, you're going to refeed. It's like your body turns, if you go down this stage of like eating clean, your body turns into such a fucking furnace, man.
Right.
You can double your clean food. It's not going to do fuck all, man. Like you do have to kind of, you know, I believe that there's a point where it's like, you know, when you're eating, when you're 6 weeks out and you got striated fucking, this is where it's only going to time I'm going to actually say this, okay? I had striated fucking glutes and hamstrings 6 weeks out, right? Like I was gaunt in the face. It's like, okay, you try and have like 2 or 3 days of like doubling your clean carbs, and like you actually it just throws more fuel in the fire. So you know, like the Chris Aceto old school way, when I reached out to him, he put me on some, you know, some bad food, and like, yeah, look, there was a time and place for it because it actually kind of slowed everything down a little bit.
That's my point. So, but it's because you've gone through that 10, 12, 16 weeks of proper dieting that you have to almost slow your body down with the shit food.
Dude, when I went to the second, you fly for fucking more than say 4 hours, water retention, you put weight on, all that kind of shit. I did a 14-hour straight trip to LA. In your time, you know, would you agree? People on a flight like that, bigger guys, you know, you're looking at a 5 or 10 kilo maybe increase when they, you know, the water retention in the legs and they swell up. And
You probably got dry.
I lost 4 kilos. No diuretics, nothing. Lost 4 fucking kilos.
So did you drink more water while you were flying as well, Sam?
So what I did was I loaded up the fucking the thermo bottles, just with my food because they stay.
Can you
warm.
explain the thermo bottles to everyone? Because when you told me this, it blew my mind, and nobody knows about
Dude,
this.
it keeps fucking food warm for 10 to 12 hours. Keeps it cold for like 14.
So it's like think of a flask where you keep your hot water hot. Just a bigger version of that.
Yeah. Comes out fucking steaming hot. Like still like you just fucking cooked it.
So you microwave it, put it in, and then it stays like that.
Off
So
you
yeah,
go.
that's unreal.
Yeah. I've always got one with me just in case. So like driving home today, get stuck in traffic. Pull it out, fucking sit in traffic, eat, like whatever. Anyway, so I did that. I'm a big believer in 10-minute walks directly after your meal as well. So just on the plane, middle of the night, people will sleep when it's going up and down the aisles just to help digest
You would
the
have
food.
had to walk sideways.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
He'll.
It was fucked. But I had to, because you're sitting down for so long anyway, it's fucking boring. But when I got to the US, I'm like, man, I've lost 3 kilos, and I'm like, dropping still. I was having 1 to 2 American cheat meals a day for like 5 days coming in the show, and I was still, my best look was 128. I was on stage like 122, 123.
Is this the most recent show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you go so far with your body. Like what, you know, as I said, there is obviously pros and cons to everything, right? So if you go too far and down the clean route, your body just moves in this fucking position where it's like not even dirty food's gonna fucking fill you back out, you know. But how many people as well really get that fucking shredded where they're like, oh yeah, I've got to go have like pizza the night before, you know? Oh, it's like no, it doesn't happen.
No, and that was my point of like getting the story out of you. Like where people will say these things, but they don't do all the work in front of it. So therefore, it makes it pointless.
It's like because I reached out to Chris Aceto, you know, in the later part of my prep, you know, because you start to get a bit cooked, and you're like, you know, I do want to have just a kind of a second opinion on just to make some decisions, you know, unbiased, you know, whatever. And you're saying, it's like, drop your cardio. And you're like, no, like, I just like it. It's not even like, I just like cardio.
Yeah, I understand that.
He's like, no, you got to drop it, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll drop it. And it's like, he's messaging me, right? Stop doing cardio. And I'm like, I'm not. So it's like, I'm cheating on my diet. People say, are you staying on your fucking diet because you're still fat? For me, it was like, are you still doing cardio because you're fucking still dropping too quick? How many people actually get like that? Until you're getting like that, then it's like, yeah, okay, so go have a burger the night before the show. You know what I mean? But unless that's happening, don't fucking talk to me about like, oh, do you think I'll fill out with this and that or whatever? It's like,
yeah, so my whole point before it's like, you need to learn your body too. It's more of it's catch it if it's dropping, as opposed to eat the cheat meal because, for whatever reason.
Dude, the food's nice, man. I'm not saying, yes, I mean, cheat meals are nice, but it's like, for me, it was more like the better feeling, like when I'm walking out of that IHOP restaurant, I've just smashed fucking, American food's so fucking hectic, man. It's like a big fucking omelet that big and like a big stack of pancakes, and you're walking out of that restaurant smiling, not because you feel satisfied from the food you just ate. It's like, am I that fucking shredded that I'm forced to eat this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to eat it. I'm forced to eat it. That's a good feeling, because then it's like, sweet. I've always said, like, when we talk about, say, on the bodybuilding side of things, I'd always rather be overcooked than underdone.
Yeah, I'd rather be flat than overcooked.
Yeah, man.
But nobody likes this. And I feel everyone looks better.
I
think everyone looks better flat. I think if you were to compare, unless you're spot on and whatever, right? But if we talk about just generally average, those who compete, if everyone walked on stage at the point where they say online that they're flat, they would look better than they did when they did their show.
You know what's sick? Like, it's like you got like these top pros that you see, right? Because I've done a pro show for 5 years. So like it's new again for me, And like these dudes are putting their tan on, they're sweating, and like it's just dripping off. And like for me, like they put the coat on, just soaks up. Like, she's like, holy shit, this is just like, you just eat this up, Like you're off stage and they got their towel wipers there, patting everyone down. Like you walk off, they're like, oh, you're not even sweating.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm good to go. Like, so yeah, like I knew it was flat, but like, when you're at that level, it's like, to me, I think you really got to go down that real flat path. So it's like, I know I can get there now, so now I'm not afraid to, if someone at a high position that I'm taking advice from, say, I'm working with John Jewett now, if he said to me, you got to do this, this, and this, it's not like, oh, what if I spill? Because, we always think that, right? Where now it's like, no, like, I know I've fucking pushed that realm, so let's see what I can go with. Let's go down that path of trying to so-called fill out. Because when I was backstage, I got beaten by some guys that were full as a house, but I didn't like the look. Like, yeah, they were better than me as bodybuilders. I'm not saying like I should have beaten those guys, but to me, I liked what I had because like I was peeled as fuck, man. Like I walked out.
And that was your goal going into that show.
I just want to be fucking peeled as fuck, man.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck how I got there. It's like I just want to be peeled because in that way, no one can ever take anything away from you. It's like, oh, if you just had a few more weeks, that's a shit feeling. You know what I mean?
But that lean look is look. I'm biased, mate. That lean look is a much nicer look. I don't care. Like that bloated, full, over-carb look. It works for some people that are fortunate enough, but I don't know, mate.
Dude, soft backstage, man. I'm talking like soft.
Yeah.
And you're like, and dude, you compare. You're like, oh fuck, I think I've actually got a pretty good chance here. But the thing is, they got so much muscle that when they go, it just pulls the skin back. And you're like, okay, fuck. These guys are fucking hectic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always going to be biased towards that peeled look. I think it's just the epitome of hard work,
Yeah.
As I said, like if you come out a little bit overcooked and underdone, so be it. But to really go to that space, I've said that I thought I've been peeled before, and you look back and you go, nah, I reckon I could have pushed it, a lot harder, like or whatever. Like, oh, I spilled my carb load or whatever it is. Like, yeah, you weren't really peeled in the first place. Like, it's hard to spill. It's like as I said, like coming out of that show, I stopped the gig cold turkey for a total of 8 weeks before I started up with John properly. And I was just not abusing it, but I was just eating what I had friends to catch up with, family to catch up with, whatever it is. So you're going for a meal really once or twice a day. There was no, I didn't actually lose my glutes until probably like a month ago. So you carry it for a fucking long time.
So the moral to the story is get in shape properly.
I think get in shape properly. I think just with anything, and that's not just bodybuilding wise. I think you got to really push the envelope and almost push it too far with that kind of condition thing, so you can really see how far you can go with it, because even when I stop things one day, I'll always want to look more aesthetically pleasing for my own personal look, and that's being fucking lean.
Well, yeah.
It's more comfortable being lean too.
Dude, it is, man. Like, that's why, look, as I said, like, when the whole bodybuilding thing finishes for me one day, it's like, like when I had Crohn's, I dropped down to like 105 kilos, 100 kilos. If you had an NRL player that's 100 kilos, that dude's a fucking weapon.
You hear him talk about it on TV. Yeah. He's 100 kilos. This fella's massive.
We're just so used to talking these high numbers. That's like small fish, but you're still walking around 100 kilos. That's a lot of weight.
I tell anyone that they're 90, like, you're big. If you are 90 kilos, you're big.
Yeah,
you know?
in condition, that's a fucking big weight, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah,
I feel better.
Thank
I only said 90 to keep you in the conversation.
Well, it's a little bit north of 90. Let's be fair, but look at. Is anyone looking at the monitor over there? Look at how small I look, man, between you two. Fucking hell.
You're sitting further back though.
Yeah, that's what it is. You're out angling me too, bro. Sammy's out angling all of us on the corner there.
Yeah, so on that front, as I said, that's why now it's like I can just kind of let myself kind of go on that way now. That's why I kind of hand the controls over, John Jewett, because it's good to have a coach again. I haven't had a coach and like properly coaching, even off season and things like that. I've known for a long time, So I think that's a big accountability thing too. Like, here I am as a coach, but you got to stay accountable to someone.
Right. So there you go. So you as a coach, promoting a coach, right? That's everyone needs a coach.
So this is their problem, because I've coached other coaches. I've coached so many other coaches, right?
Right.
As I said to you before, they copy my shit, whatever. Take my shit. Like, do what you got to do. You're not going to be as good as what I do. Like, it doesn't mean I'm above anyone. It's just I'm confident within my own product. You know what I mean? So you might get clients or whatever. You're not going to steal my clients. Yeah, that's the small-minded mentality everyone has. It's like they can't claim that they have another coach. The amount of times, like, I see it, they try and fucking not tag me or whatever it is when I'm working with them. Like, not that I care. I don't want to fucking tag anyway. But it's like, I know what you're doing because you're worried. Like,
you're worried
it's going to discredit you. It's like, no, you actually get more credit.
Yes.
Right? When you say, I don't fucking know. When someone asks me something, right, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I just say, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And if it's actually something of not interest to me, it might be a good question. Yeah, fuck, I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
And if it's a question that I really don't give a fuck about, it's like, I don't know. Go find out. I don't give a fuck. Right? Because it just doesn't interest me. Right? But what it also does too, it says that I don't know everything. So that when I do say something, you're going to most likely believe it, because I'm also happy to say when I don't know something. Do you know what I mean? So it's a transparent side of things, right? When you're a fucking know-it-all, then people start to question, like, do you actually know what you're fucking talking about? Like a long-winded answer, when really, if you do know something and you trust your craft, you can answer it in a couple of sentences.
Right.
But when you ask someone something, oh yeah, this and blah, blah, this is like, you could just say, just have more carbs post-workout.
Right. Or also have the ego to the road enough to answer it in a simplistic manner that the person can understand it, rather than trying to make it sound over-technical.
Oh, everyone does that, yeah. So it's like people say, like, oh man, your Instagram's fucking firing at the moment, you're killing it, whatever. You know why? Because I word my shit so fucking simple that a third grader could understand it. Right? That's like the key thing. I learned that from a dude I follow, Alex Hormozy, which everyone knows him. It is. It's like, you're not smart by trying to make yourself sound smart with these fucking cool mumbo-jumbo words. It just attracts more fucking dumb people, right? They're just like, oh, wow, that sounds so fucking smart. Where it's just like, if you can explain it so simple and simplistic, it actually makes you look smart. That's why everyone's like, oh, your content's so amazing. It's so fucking smart. It's like, it's actually not. Because I know I'm not the smartest dude out there. I just kind of relay it, so it's like, how could I understand if I could say something?
And use the big captions so those that can't read good can read it.
Yeah, exactly. Simple words, man.
Yeah, it's relatable, man. That's
why, as I said, like me even giving away my big secret right now, it's like, yeah, go try and fucking do it. That's the hardest part. It's actually harder because I could sit there and talk about a topic for 5 minutes. Who's going to listen to that on a reel, right?
Yeah.
I really got 30 to 40 seconds to cram all this fucking out there information into something with the most simple, basic word form. And then these motherfuckers come at me and go, oh, what do you mean by this? Or you missed out on this. Or it's like, dude, obviously you fuckwit. Like, I'm trying to fucking fit everything into 30 seconds, right? I'm going to miss a couple of non-key parts in it. You know what I mean? They have to put it in there to make themselves sound smart. They start commenting on every fucking part.
But you just said it, then it's non-key. It's
Yeah, like,
redundant. You don't need to say it.
right,
Yeah.
like, it's valid information. You know what I mean? But is it really important? When I'm trying to get like the main points across in say 30 seconds to 40 seconds, like you try and do that. You try and get like a topic on fucking gear, nutrition, training, whatever it might be. And you try and put it into 30 to 40 seconds, right? When you got no breaks, like that goes up very fucking quickly. And you try and get your point across for someone to fully understand that. It's like, yeah, okay, if you want to research further, go. You know what I mean? But don't come at me and say, oh, you missed the fucking, you missed this little one line of this and this. It's like, man, you know what I mean. You know, especially if you're someone that like is educated on that part. Like you of all people fully understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying is not wrong. But if I'm leaving out some things,
But also,
that's not
what's
false
the purpose of them doing that? It's just a dick measuring fucking procedure.
Because what happens is that people see your growth, right? Lately, for me on say social media, where I've gone down the less bodybuilder athlete and trying to actually give a bit of insight and education, right? And people see it, they see you growing, so it's like they have to kind of ride your wake and, I'm smart too, I'm going to put a comment here, I'm smart, I can say this, and that validates what I'm saying, because I've only got 750 followers, so like, if I can get some of them, and it's like, yeah, sweet, take some fucking crumbs or whatever. No, you just look like more of a fucking dumbass coming in and saying that, because like, you do it yourself then. Yeah, and then people do, I see people trying to copy my shit, and it's so fucking amateur, because they hopefully start to realise how fucking hard this shit is to come out and do it every fucking day.
But it's actually harder to copy someone verbatim than it is to come up with your own shit. Like, you can take the idea, and the idea is just talk about pads, talk about nutrition, talk about training. All right, they're your three major things you're going to talk about. But to say it word for fucking word on the topic that someone else just did it, it just makes you look stupid. Okay, especially when you're speaking about muscle, when the guy who said it before you has more muscle than you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah. So the problem is that it, what they don't realise in this topic, it's coaching a skill set, right? So you can sit there and teach people reference material, and they can learn the stuff that you're teaching them, right? But in the end of the day, coaching is knowing what to do and when to do it, and they're the things that can't actually be taught, right? Not easily, anyway. And that's the big difference here. Is that's why people are always going to copy your stuff, man. Do you know how many times I've seen my spreadsheet with the little circle with the division of percentages? Do you know how many times I've seen that around the place now with different logos and stuff? Man, I used to sit there and just get furious at the shit and go, what, you're copying my shit? Now it's just flattery. I look at it and go, well, you know what, so what? You've got an automated spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Have fun with the automated spreadsheet.
Yeah, as you said, it's the skill set and understanding what call you have to make for the person.
Correct.
You know, and
At the time, yeah.
And that's the shit as well that just comes so freely.
Yeah.
You know, like, because just let's just talk on a bodybuilding sense. You know, when as the show gets closer and closer, the body changes faster and faster, right? So you can't really sit there and explain things in that given time, because you've got to make the call then and there. So it's like, Chris, look, do this. They'll come back and say, oh, but you said on the plan, in the last 4 weeks, it's like, no, like that's an indication or a guideline of what we want to kind of work with. But if I see something, like, we've got to change on the spot, we've got to do that right fucking now, because you're moving too quick, or you're not moving fast enough, or whatever the fuck it might be, right? That's actually the skill set where it's like you can do it just subconsciously, like driving. You don't think about driving.
Correct.
So if you can just throw it in there and go, yeah, we're going to do this, and this, that's where the skill set comes from. It's not about what you read in a book and you regurgitate it from even on an online article, whatever. You can regurgitate in your profile and say, oh, this and this, which really you just copy and paste it from a fucking study anyway that you got no fucking idea about. But all it is you're trying to do is just make yourself sound smart. Like, it's what you can do without even having to think about it. It's like, yeah, okay, you might have the spreadsheet like I do, for example. I made my spreadsheet over the last, say, 15 years of doing this shit.
Right.
I just add it to it as I go, right? But you do it for so long. If I actually wanted to write a diet for someone right now, I do it in the spreadsheet so it's pretty and nice, and I have someone present them professionally.
Yeah.
I could literally write it on a fucking bit of paper.
Correct.
I could
Yeah,
tell
no,
you
through a text message.
And you know within
I could
a
easily do
pretty accurate percentage that the
It's
calories
like,
were and
like,
everything.
when I work with Chris Aceta, right?
Yeah.
My old assistant back in the day, she's like, what do you pay him? Like, because she sees the emails coming through. It says sent from my iPhone. Like, he's literally on his phone. He's probably fucking on the toilet writing shit, right? And it's like, 200 chicken, and this. And I'm talking like, it is so fucking basic what he writes me. And I'm like, because I don't need that shit. I don't need the pretty pictures and all that shit. I fucking know all about it. I just need someone just to say that so I can stay accountable to it. Like, because I'm not paying him for his fucking spreadsheets. I'm not paying him for his fucking fancy words. I'm paying for his fucking experience.
And you don't need him to sit in front of a computer for 2 hours to do your plan.
Right.
I don't want to
Just
talk
do
to
the
him.
fucking plan.
Right.
I talk to enough people every fucking day.
So you're paying this man for his coaching, right? You're paying him for his knowledge, right?
Exactly.
So, leads us into the other thing. These coaches with their packages, right, that are offering everything, you know, free this, round the clock, 24/7, fucking, I'll discuss your relationship issues, all this sort of stuff. Those people that are packaging up all these extras in the packages are making up for the fact that their skill set's lacking. That's what the situation is, right? Someone who has skills like Asita has, right, and you're purchasing those skills and you're going from point A to point B, right? Like what you said, it just being a text message and his knowledge is what you're actually paying for here.
It's like, dude, he's coached fucking Mr. Olympia's pro show winners. It's like, you know, I would actually hope that he doesn't need a fucking spreadsheet, because, like, you know, that dude, man, like, as far as like his punctuality and like attentiveness to communication, like peak week for my second Arnold's. Hey, look, just letting you know, if I don't respond quickly, the baby's coming out. I didn't even know his missus was fucking pregnant. He's in the fucking waiting room messaging me. And I'm like, oh, dude, it's all good. I can look after myself. Like, I was about to leave the hotel room and go down. Like, I know what to do from there on. You know what I mean? Because I don't keep sending me photos every hour. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit. You know what I mean? And then, like, as I said, like, most of the time, he write back, peeled, or, he always write super peeled or some shit. Just like one word. And that's sweet, good. That's all I need to fucking hear. Like, you know, or, you know, do this or do that, or add 100 gram of carb of rice here. It's like, sweet. Like, I shouldn't actually, I'll be worried if someone of his level will be like, just wait a second, gotta go to my laptop, go into my fucking my program, my software, my spreadsheet, and work it all out, you know, so I can, it's like, no, like, when it's off the cost like that, it should be just fluent for you, knowing everything that needs to be directed to someone at that kind of level.
Yeah.
See, sometimes I get clients that will say to me, you actually don't say a lot, right? And I say to them in return, I go, I actually would be more concerned if I actually had a lot to say.
Dude, John Davey, man, told me 3 times in the times that I've worked with him, I look good. 3 fucking times.
Okay, but this
Now, since I haven't worked with him, he tells me all the time, bro, you look amazing. Like, you know, you know, he sends me messages, like, we still talk all the time. So, bro, you look mad, or, you know, hey man, send me some photos, you know. But when I was under him, it was like the fucking military father that I'm trying to get love from. Like, oh, how do I look? You're like, go jump in the office, you know. And you're like, fuck, man, that's all I get, you know. Then when he says, you look good, the goosebumps now fucking talking about it. You look at it, you're like, yeah, fuck.
But he'd also hold
the cameras can see it, but I got fucking goosebumps now talking about it.
He'd hold his coaching to a higher standard too.
Dude, 3 times. You know, and it's like the son, you know, saying you want your father to say I love you, right? So it's like same thing, right? It's like 3 times he only ever said I look good in the whole time we worked together, right? You know, but at the same time, that's what kept pushing me. You get these people that suck up their ass. Oh, bro, you look good. You look that. The thing is, right? It's like when you see that spastic that walks out on stage and they look like shit, right? And everyone in the crowd, the normal person, will say, "Oh, look at that spastic doing that." I don't see them as a spastic. I see them. I'm like, you don't fucking know, and you trusted your coach, and your coach is a fucking asshole putting you up there. I'd rather be the bad guy that they hate, right? Because I didn't let them get up there,
Right.
rather than everyone else hate me. Right? Because I told someone they want to hear, and I sent them out to the wolves in their DTs to be presented to everyone and embarrass themselves. That'd be a horrible feeling. You know, I've never had that, but like I would never want to put that on someone either.
Yeah, true.
So that's why, you know, as I said, being honest and transparent and yeah, like be blunt. People like me because I'm blunt. People like me because I'm an arsehole, right? It's like you got to, you know, tell them to them straight. You're like, I'm sorry. Like sometimes I say, look, sorry if my messages come across blunt. I'm just direct. I'm to the point. No, like I love it. It's what I need to hear. You know, like, and if you get offended by it, fuck off. You know, go to someone that's going to tell you what you want to hear, because that's why you still are where you are and you haven't fucking progressed anyway.
I was telling him on the way over, on the drive over, pretty much word for word, exactly that.
Exactly that, dude. Yeah, like, you know, you want to be told what you want to hear, go to someone else. You know, I see it. Like, I do see it. Like, you know, I've seen people after shows, like, you know, it's like physique, bikini, and wellness, right? Men's physique, I mean. It's like you got 2 poses, wellness 4, but they're quarter sense. You know. So, because you're restricted, your hair, makeup, presentation, jewelry, bikini, all that shit fucking matters, right? So, it's like, you know, I've said to people before, they come off stage and I'm like, you know, like, you look stiff, or you could be in condition, you look great, but if you don't have all those other factors, right? Right? Yeah, that's why you're in place, right? So you tell people these things, or bodybuilders, whether they're posing as often, I've seen it. Like I've seen really good bodybuilders and pose hard, whatever. They get on stage, it's scary. Like you shit yourself and you fuck a few poses up, whatever it is. You tell them as soon as they get off. You know, you try and put the blame back on them, but you just got to be honest and transparent. Say, look, this is what happened. Like we should have prepared more for this, or whatever it is, or and you got to tell people these things. I've seen people, they get so upset because their emotions at the time, they thought they'd go better, whatever it is, and I've got to push back on this. I'm like, push back on it. I don't care. I'm front and fucking center. I can see, like if you're off with these certain things, whatever it is, right? You can't miss a fucking beat. You got to be on all the fucking time, and like you got to be that person that says it to them, And look, the amount of times people disagree, whatever. Go to someone and tell you what you want to hear. It's fine. I don't take it personally.
The biggest problem with that sort of stuff is that you get this is more inexperienced people. You get people that come along and they expect a certain result, right? And yeah, sure, if they're a bodybuilder, they're doing well and they're in the gym, right? And they're amongst other people that aren't direct competitors. They may look the biggest in their gym or better than someone in the gym, right? And this is the big thing. And then all their friends, oh, you're going to win, Brett, you're going to do all this and all this sort of stuff. And then you go into an environment where there is 100 people of you and you blend into the crowd. And then all of a sudden, the disappointment comes across because you don't win. And then all of a sudden you're told you're going to for all this period of time. That's the hardest thing. People always say to me, how do you think I'll go? You don't know who's going to show up on the day. I've rocked up in one lineups where they were weak lineups, right? And I went, you know what? Don't read into this too much today. You won it. You were the best here today, but it wasn't particularly strong. But then I've been in lineups where I got absolutely just crunched, right? But the lineup was that strong, and that 8th place out of those 35 people was probably worth more than the first place out of those four soft ones. You know what I mean? Namingly Arnold Classic, when you had Ahmed Ashkanani taking out the under 90s, and basically most of that top 5 are now 212 pros.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good feeling. Yeah, like
right.
I say to you now too, it's like worst placing I've had is probably the last show I did. I got 11th, right? But I picked a show from the year before. The Cali show the year before was shit. Like, and obviously all the other guys that turned up on the day, 25 guys turned up, they all thought the same thing. So you turn up to a stacked fucking show and you're like, man, like, but it's mad because you're versing all these top tier competitors and you can really see where you're at.
Exactly.
So for me, you go home and you're like, sweet, I've got to improve, because now, well, you don't want to get up early one day because we're human, or you don't want to go train legs because you're feeling a bit tight in your lower back or whatever it might be. It's like, that's the shit you think about.
Yeah.
Because you don't like getting anything after first call out.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes.
I got to kick it.
Yeah.
No, that's it.
I just checked the time.
No,
4:30
we're
pick up.
good. So,
All right. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. Good to see you, my
Anytime
friend.
coming on.
Yeah.
Anytime. I know I'm bad with the phone.
Yeah.
But I'll come on anytime. I love it.
Yeah, you're a legend.
It is fun. That was good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you. And
Well,
thank you.
That's it for episode 10.
Thank you for putting me on as the first guest in the
Hey,
podcast room.
look at the facility we got here.
All right, so
Yeah.
I feel good about this.
No.
All right. Thank you, guys.
This has been This is Fitness. With over 60 combined years in the fitness world, Jimmy and Chris have walked the walk and are here to share what really works. Their passion is to explore new trends, dispel myths, and call out the stupidity within the industry. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Chris on social media at Chris Thomas Alpha Ethos and his website at alpha-ethos.com. Find Jimmy on social media at jimmysadak.designercoaching and his website at www.jimmysadak.com. See you next time on This is Fitness.